Hello, everybody. Bret Saberhagen here. Excited to do my second Spreecast. Um, let's go over a few things. Let me put my readers on so I can actually see what we need to talk about. Um, uh, I apologize in advance for any technical difficulties. Hopefully there won't be any, but there has been in the past a few little problems here and there. Last time I was having a tough time figuring out where all the questions were coming from. Hopefully I'll do a little bit better job at that this time. You got to submit your Spreecast questions. You actually have to have create an account with Spreecast to ask any questions to me. And when you want to ask the questions, you need to text them to me and put it in the viewers' questions and suggestions. The chat box on the right is for users to chat with each other, not for questions. So again, the viewer question and suggestion is where you ask the questions, and I'll pull questions up randomly. We'll be doing the chat for about 20 minutes or so. Could be a little bit longer. We'll see how it's going. Good to be back in Kansas City. Looking forward to tomorrow, actually. We've got a little blood drive going on with the Royals that you can find out where it exactly is at. I will be there giving blood from 12 to 1 o'clock tomorrow. So if you guys can make it out there, it's great Royals charity that's going on. I'm going to the game on Friday night. It's a Legends night. We'll be signing autographs at Gate B for an hour prior to the game. So if you can make it out there, say hello. That would be great as well. The Royals are doing well right now, so hopefully they can finish off this big series against Detroit coming up and finish off the first half on a high note. And congratulations to the three guys that made the All-Star team. It's great to see three Royals players there. So let's get going with the questions. Again, I need to find the first question. First question, 4 out of 5 years, I pitched over 235 innings. Oh, by the way, this is from Scott Launders. 4 out of 5 years, I pitched 235 innings from 85 to 89. Do I think that much work affected my longevity throughout my career? I had a few good years after, um, but they weren't as good as they were prior to that. Um, Thanks for the question, Scott. I think at an early age, coming up at 20 years old, my first year in the big leagues, 1984, putting a lot of innings on my arm had maybe something to do with why I broke down at some point in time. 1985 was when I really hurt my arm for the first time and had to have shoulder surgery. And after that point in time, I wasn't able to go long in the game. Didn't have, I think, maybe one complete game after that. But I think it is good now. It's with the pitching, especially the younger pitchers, how they keep them on a pitch count and an inning count throughout the course of the year. But I think sometimes it's a little too much overdone. So you've got to be cautious, especially with the young pitchers coming up, on how much they throw, how many innings, and how many pitches. I I think it had something to do with it, but I'm not positive. I'm very fortunate to get in a lot of good quality years before I had my first surgery. Great question. Thanks, Scott, for the first question. Okay, this is from Chad Tillman. Um, you're very well known for being a prankster. What was your favorite prank and who was it on? Thanks for the question, Chad. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many pranks that I used to pull. I got myself into a little bit of trouble at times. Lonnie Smith and I were going at each other. We would do things back and forth for a long time on each other. And then I think there was a few guys that kind of got in the middle and started doing stuff, and Lonnie thought it was me doing something, and he thought, vice versa. So we started trying to get back at each other when we weren't even pulling pranks on each other after a while. So we had to kind of calm things down. I think the biggest, the most fun I had where I used to give some hot foots, and that was where you'd take a cigarette, you'd light it on, light it up, put a roll of matches around it with bubble gum and stick it onto somebody's outside of their shoe. And as the cigarette would burn, it would light the matches on fire and give them a little bit of a hot foot. I know it's not the most safe thing. I kind of learned from my mistakes and didn't do it too much after that. But that was always a good one. We got one of our first base coaches to go actually out to first base, and he was coaching first base during the game with a hot foot stuck to his foot, and it went off while he was out at first base. So we did another in Oakland. Durwood Merrill was an umpire out at in Oakland at the time, umpiring first base. And we put a fake snake. He hated snakes. Put a fake snake out in the grass right beyond first base prior to the game. And when he went out there, he thought he almost stepped on a snake, and he was jumping around like a little girl. I would have done the same thing because I'm not a big fan of snakes either. So those are just a few of the pranks that we did on each other. There was a couple that uh, we did with, gosh, I got to remember his name. I'll have to come back to it, but we dressed him up as a hillbilly with cut off overalls. He brought in overalls. He was wearing overalls. We cut off one leg short and the other one really just right about the knee, and gave him a 2x4 in his locker, and he had to actually wear that home one night. But so we've always done some fun things, and I appreciate the question, Chad. Next question. This is from Logan. Other than your charity work, what have you been doing after you retired from Major League Baseball? Well, it's a lot of charity stuff. I do a lot of, especially during the summertime. I'm on the road quite a bit, doing a lot of different fundraisers for different charities. I've been to Mississippi already this year for Steve Azar's charity golf outing. I was in Cleveland for a buddy of mine's charity outing that he does for Akron's Children's Hospital. I did an outing for Robbie Gould out in Chicago. So just been doing a lot of different stuff that way, visiting friends, taking vacations, just a lot of fun things. So this week it's going to be a good time with the Royals. So it keeps me busy between family, friends. I spend a lot of time up. I have a place at the lake up in Lake Nacimiento, which is Paso Robles, California, Central Coast, halfway between San Fran and Los Angeles. Spend a lot of time out there as well. So I always seem to be doing something that keeps me busy. Thanks for the question, Logan. Next question. Let me get my glasses on for this one. Justin Taylor. Hi, Brett. Can you talk about your ups and downs in the big leagues? Did the trade by the Royals let you down? Thanks for the question, Justin. Um, a lot of it was funny because I just heard recently that the Royals season this year was a lot like Saberhagen's career was. Every other year I was healthy and I was throwing well, and it seemed like the odd years were the good years, the even years weren't so good. And it seems like the Royals this year, the good weeks and the next week is a bad week, so they kind of flip flop from going to good to bad. But the ups and downs, I played baseball in the big leagues 18 years longer than I ever expected. So the first day in the big leagues, I was very excited to put on a uniform and play professionally. So the ups and downs, yeah, you have them in any walk of life and whatever you do. Baseball is another one of those things that, especially, fortunately, I wasn't a hitter because if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, which normally if you're 3 out of 10 times, you're getting fired if you're doing well. Baseball, if you're 3 out of 10, you're an all-star. So you have a lot of ups and downs. You try to minimize that. You try to learn from your mistakes. In between starts, you're going over the team that you're going to be facing, weaknesses, strengths of their players, of their hitters. You do your bullpens. You try to go over your pitches that aren't working properly in between. So you work on a lot of things, but you try to minimize the downs, and hopefully you have more ups. But throughout my career, towards the end of my career with the shoulder injuries that I had and the surgeries that I had, it made it a little bit tougher to be as successful. I found a way to become a better pitcher, not maybe a guy that just went out and felt like early in my career, if I felt like I had my curveball, it was going to be a great day. The curveball, I had to work around it. Changeup and fastball were always pretty much there. So those were the days that I had to keep throwing the curveball, work it in, and once I got that feel for the curveball and throwing it for strikes, it was a good day. So ups and downs, yeah, you're going to have them throughout Major League Baseball or anything that you do in life. Try to minimize those downs. Thanks for the question, Justin. Next question. Um, this is from SMP. Who were some of your best friends on the teams that you played on? Um, well, Kansas City, early days, we all, I tell you, I had a lot of good close friends. We during the off season there'd be 16 of us that would take trips to play golf. During the season, if there was an off day, somebody had something going on at their house, and just about the whole entire team would show up. But Mark Gubazai and I were came up in the minor leagues together. We roomed together our first year, still friends. George really took me under my wing at an early age. Um, Played some golf with him today, actually, so it was good to see George. When I went to the Rockies, Larry Walker and I were really close. With the Mets, Johnny Franco and I were very close. With the Red Sox, John Valentin. So I've been very fortunate to have some good quality people around me. Still friends. We don't see each other as much anymore. Everybody has their kind of places that they're living around the country. Not everybody's in the same spot. People are doing family stuff. People are doing work stuff. So actually, Gooby's doing a great job announcing for the Angels. So I track him down. I actually see him more than he sees me because I watch him on TV periodically, being out in California. Thanks, SMP, for the question. Next question. Marco. What was your favorite baseball stadium to play in as a visitor? Marco Martelli. I believe I got that last name right. And if it's the Marco, then I'm thinking about how you doing, Marco. Um, I really enjoyed pitching at Oakland, the Coliseum there. And the reason why the ball didn't carry all that much, it seemed like as a pitcher, because the backstop was closer than a lot of backstops, it felt like I was right on top of a hitter, and it just seemed like the hitter was real close, and I was able to get the ball past a few guys, a little sneaky fastball here and there. But Oakland was always a great place to pitch. I like pitching in LA. They had really nice clay mounds. It wasn't dirt, so you never got that really big hole, and you didn't have to step in it. If it was a left-hander pitcher from one side and a right-hander, you'd have a heel in the ground in a lot of stadiums. Angels and Dodgers were always really firm, good, solid mounds. Um, Old Cleveland Ballpark was another one of those parks that I loved pitching in. Um, Ballparks that I hated to pitch in were any ballpark that was indoors. Minnesota, hated pitching in the Metrodome. Tropicana Field. Kingdome was all right, but I just hated pitching indoor. Baseball was meant to be played outside. But those are a few of the mounds. I always liked pitching in Kansas City as well. Big ballpark, took a lot to get it out of there as well. So Marco, thank you for the question. Great question. Go to the next one. Um, this one's from Chad Tillman again. I just got married on Sunday. Any advice that you could share? That's a good question. I've done it twice, so I have a little bit of a background on that. Stay married. It costs a lot of money when you get divorced. That's the best advice I could give you. Um, you got married for a reason. Hopefully it goes well. Congratulations. And yeah, it's there's you just got to roll with the punches. Always have a smile on your face. Um, and yeah, congratulations, Chad. I've done it twice. I haven't done it a third time. I always say three strikes and you're out, or a third time's a charm. So we'll see what happens with that. But congratulations. Next question, Chad, or thank you, Chad. Next question. This is from A. Levy. Um, do you miss playing? I thank you for the question, A. Levy. I do miss playing. I miss competing. I really I get a little bit of competition with golf and stuff like that, but I really miss the competition, the me against you on the mound. But understand that if I had a bad day, I could still get by and win because the defense would pick you up, or if the hitters would pick you up and score some runs. It wasn't all about me. It was about how we did as a team. So I could have a bad day and it would still be a good day. So I miss the competing part. I miss the camaraderie with the guys, hanging out with the guys, going to lunch with the guys, going to dinner with the guys. So those are the two aspects that I miss probably the most. The ballparks, they're it's their shrines. It's always great to go to any big league ballpark and put on a uniform and play in it. So I miss that as well. Now I get to go and see them and watch them, and but it was always fun stepping out on the field and partaking in games. Thank you for the question, A. Levy. Next question. Um, who should be the next baseball commissioner? And this question's from Sports Real. Thanks for the question, Sports Real. I guess there's a lot of good quality candidates out there. I don't know who is actually even a front runner for it. I know Bud Selig's done a great job. I wasn't really crazy when he took the job as him being a former owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. I wasn't really crazy about him taking over, but he's made some great adjustments in baseball. He's done a lot of great things with the steroid era. Um, but as far as who the next great commissioner will be, and it seems like everybody that's come in has done a really good job. I'm not really sure. I don't really have an opinion on that, but I'm sure that they'll pick the right one. Thanks. What would I do if I was commissioner? That's asked from a buddy of mine that's here. um, I think I'd make the steroids, the users, maybe a little bit stiffer. I think that would be one of the changes. I know there's questions about the All-Star game coming up, whether the winner of the All-Star game should have home field advantage or not. Back when I was playing, it alternated every other year. I think that came in from it being a tie the one year where they called it a tie, and they didn't finish off the All-Star game, so they had to actually make it plain for something. Um, I think baseball's in good standings right now. I like the interleague play. I like the addition of another wild card team with a one game play in. So there's a lot of good things going on with baseball. I think everybody's really enjoying the races, and it always seems to come down to the last week of the season for a few teams that can get in and get out. So I think baseball's in good shape. I wouldn't make a whole lot of changes. Thank you for the question, Sports Real. Next question. Um, this is from Greg Sheehan. Uh, I remember meeting you at Midcalf South Mall when I was a kid, sometime after the '85 series. You were there for photographs and autographs. Thanks. Let me see. There's more to the question. Thanks for all the memories and for being so personable with fans like you're doing tonight. Uh, Thank you for the question and the nice comment, Greg. It really is. I mean, it's baseball wouldn't be as big as it is right now if baseball didn't have fans, and so you always have to remember that they're a huge part of what we do and why we're able to do it in such great arenas, baseball stadiums. So I appreciate you coming out and actually watching the chat, being a part of the Spreecast tonight, for having some nice memories. Hopefully, I signed what you had asked for, and there's times where you can't sign. It's funny because during baseball games you go out and have your batting practice, and you'll come in after batting practice. You'll sign a few autographs, and you can't get to everybody because you have to get in and you need to shower, you need to get ready for the game and that. And there's always a couple fans that get disappointed in you because you don't sign everybody's autograph. If we did, we probably would never get back in that clubhouse. So I know there's fans at times that you can't sign everybody's and they get a little upset. But I appreciate you being a fan of mine and a fan of baseball. So thanks, Greg, and I'm glad I was nice to you. Next question. What's that? Last question. This is the last question? This is the last question. This is from Logan. What are some of the things your charity plans on doing? Again, my foundation is the Bret Saberhagen Make a Difference Foundation. You can go to my fan page, find out about it a little bit more. I do a lot of different signings, and a lot of the signings that I do, some of the money goes towards the foundation. I have nothing planned as of right now. I have some good friends that uh, want me to get going in something. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work. My foundation is 100% and all goes to the charity. There's nobody making any money throughout my foundation. You can find out more information about my foundation, how you can donate, and if you want something signed, you can send it to a PO box in California, which all you have to do is ask or look onto my fan page, and you can find out that information. For $25, whatever you send to me with a self-addressed stamped down envelope, I can sign it to you and return it to you for $25 if you make out a check to my foundation. So again, the Bret Saberhagen Make a Difference Foundation. I'm actually going to be doing a thing in Cleveland for Buffalo Wild Wings. It'll be a celebrity bartender, and all the money that is raised, half of it will go to the Akron Children's Hospital, and half of it will go to my foundation. That'll be in September. So that's the newest and latest thing. But I really need to get going with some kind of charity event. We've got something in the works back. On the back burner, but we still need to fine tune it a little bit. So thank you for the question. And it looks like we got one more question from Amy Lockhart. Thanks for your trip to Norfolk. How you doing, Amy? Um, Norfolk, Virginia, to show the support for the troops. Do you have any plans in the future to do another trip? It was a great trip. First trip that I've done for the troops, and again, thanks, Amy, for being a big part of that and making our trip out there such a memorable one. Visiting the troops and really finding out um, what you guys do to protect us day in and day out. It was an honor for me to be there, and anytime you need somebody to come back out, I'll be there. It was the first time, but it won't be the last time that I'll do something for the troops to visit them. I think all of us had a blast, and getting to meet so many great people that serve our country. And thank you for serving as well, Amy. Thanks for the question. And until the next Spreecast, let's uh, let's go over a couple little things that I have to finalize our little wrap-up session here. You can actually, I think something's going to pop up on the screen, but you can follow me on my fan page at Bret Saberhagen. You can follow me on Twitter at Bret Sabes, my Instagram at Bret Saberhagen. And we will be letting you know when our next Spreecast will be in the future. Really appreciate it. Hopefully I get a chance to see some of you out in Kansas City the next few days at the blood drive tomorrow, at the stadium on Friday. Um, Hopefully our everybody that former teammates or not former teammates, but my former teams, the players that they have going to the All-Star game will have a great time and play some great baseball. So thanks again for joining us. Until the next time, I appreciate you, and you can keep up with me through those media uh, avenues. So thanks again for being here. It was a good time. Good night.